Hi everyone, my name is Adriana Yugovich, and I am starting this YouTube channel to share about Lyme disease and um, give you kind of my story and what I did to get better. Just a few short years ago, I was pretty much bedridden. I couldn't work. I was having seizures and just in so much pain. And today I am back to working out. I am happy and I am healthy and I am regaining my strength. I can work full time, no seizures, no pain, no nothing. And I am so looking forward to sharing this with you guys. I did want to start out today just giving you a little bit of my story and how I finally came to my Lyme disease diagnosis after so many years. And hopefully you can gain some bit of insight from this video today. So I will start with when I was about 18 or 19. That's when some of my symptoms really started settling in. I had always been very athletic. I had been working on joining the Army, so I was working out a lot. I was taking care of my body. I was healthy. At 18, I did get pregnant, and I worked out the entire time I was pregnant. I remember being 8-9 months pregnant, still running on the treadmill. Lots of strange looks in the gym, definitely, for sure. But I continued that same health regimen through my pregnancy, after my pregnancy, and when I was about, so through my pregnancy, I had been noticing just various joint pains, like a really deep pain in my hips. But I had been in a really bad car accident when I was pregnant, and I just thought, okay, it must be from that, or it was from a past sports injury from when I was a kid. So I just kind of wrote it off. It was not anything too terrible, but definitely noticeable. And then after I had my daughter, about 1920, I was still very active, still in the gym, working full time, and I had started training for a triathlon, and I was out working. I was, my training schedule was pretty hefty, but then I noticed that I wasn't recovering like I used to be. Like I could work out, a nice, good, heavy workout, followed by a run and a swim, and I would be fine the next day and still be able to train again that following day. Sometimes, well, a lot of the time, twice a day. But then I noticed I didn't have the energy to get up and get going to the gym the next day. And it was, one day turned into 2 days, and the fatigue set in, and my muscles hurt and my joints hurt. And that went on for a while, and I just kind of pushed through it. I did, reach out to doctors, and of course, a woman coming into a doctor with any kind of pain and discomfort, you're automatically, just written off as, oh, you have depression or you have anxiety and you just need diet and exercise, and here's an antidepressant for you. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm young. I'm in my 20s. I work out. I eat a healthy diet. This isn't, this doesn't make sense to me. So then after that, about a couple years later, I kind of put the triathlon to the side. I had gotten into another car accident. None of these my fault, by the way. And just tweaked my back. So I was down even from that. So I just kind of moved on. I was like, okay, I missed my triathlon because of my injury. So now I had moved on to dancing, social dancing. It was super fun. And I was a very avid dancer and I loved it so much. It was so great. Woo, so fun. But I noticed that my knees started hurting, and I had to wear a brace to go dancing. And this is all, I'm still working out, still going to the gym, still working full time. And then I started to notice that I was getting rashes, like splotchy, itchy rashes all over my body. And I thought, maybe it's from a product I'm using. Everything I was using at this point is pretty much all natural. But as splotchy, itchy rash, I started getting pain, burning pain in my hands and my feet that would radiate into my arms into my legs, up into my hips, into my shoulders. I had fatigue, severe fatigue, to where I could barely get up and go to work. I couldn't wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and get into work by 9 or 10. And before then, I'm an early riser. I'm up with this, up and down with the sun and the moon. So this was really strange to me. I'm like, okay, this doesn't make sense. Following that, if I would have, any alcohol, wine, beer, I would faint. I would get really dizzy. And I'm talking just a glass, not even a full glass, like, maybe 4 ounces of beer. I couldn't finish my beer. I couldn't finish my glass of wine without having these symptoms. So pretty much I wasn't drinking at all during this time. After that, I, gone back to the doctor time and time again. And I got fibromyalgia. I have major depression. I have anxiety. All these diagnoses keep adding up, but nothing's making sense. Nothing's making me better. Nothing's helping me. No doctor is listening to how I'm feeling and trying to find something more. All my blood panels come back normal. Then I had moved to Washington, and I had gotten even more sick. And at that point, I couldn't work anymore. And I mean, this is a span over several years now. I was having like dizzy spells to where I would lose vision, and I would just be hovering over the toilet, ready to throw up with how nauseous I was, and migraines like I had never felt before. Not just your regular, I have a really bad headache. These were very severe, and like, come to find out, it's brain inflammation. But doctors, they're like, here's some migraine medication. It didn't work. Nothing worked. My diet was still clean at this point. I was still getting, what rest I could, but the pain in my body was so bad. It's hard to sleep. I couldn't walk. I couldn't wear jeans. I couldn't wear a bra. I couldn't wear shoes. It was awful. It was so awful. I was once at a point to where I couldn't wear anything but leggings and sweatpants. And you can't really go into work in leggings and sweatpants. But, by that time, I think I was 25 or 26 now, and I was having to leave work at 1 p.m., getting in at 7, had to leave by 1. I couldn't do it. I started getting swelling in my neck, and I would have swelling in my lymph nodes, and I would go into the doctor, and they're like, yeah, it's swollen, but, your thyroid is swollen, but all your levels are fine. But I did come back having antibodies in my thyroid, but still no relief from my symptoms, no medications, no nothing to help me at this point. I wasn't able to exercise. I wasn't able to walk. I wasn't able to pretty much like anything for exercise at this point. I couldn't exercise. There was no activity. It would put me out for days at a time. If I had tried to go out and do a weight set, I would be down for a week. If I went out and got a walk in, same thing, I would be out for a week on the couch. So much pain, can't move. The fatigue was so intense. It was crazy. It's like nothing I had ever experienced before. Like, imagine your worst flu and like times that probably by 10. It was awful. And then I got out into like Southwest Washington area, out to a rural area, Skamania County, and I had run into some new people, making new friends while I was living out there. And some of these friends just happened to have Lyme disease. And I was explaining my symptoms. My hands are burning. They hurt so bad. They're red. My feet are burning. I can't wear anything. I'm in so much pain. I'm having issues with my heart at this point. And all the swelling. And they're like, I think that you might have Lyme disease. And I said, oh, that's interesting. But come, at that point, I keep saying at that point, it's funny to me. But I had been bit by a tick when I was 14. I grew up in Sacramento, California. It's the suburbs. There's no wilderness, except I had been out just a little bit north of Sacramento in Placer County at Folsom Lake, and it was late in the summer. And there's a back area to the lake that you can four-wheel through, and I was out with some friends, and we had been wading through this long grass, and it was like swampy, and I don't know, when you're young you do stupid things, and I wasn't thinking, oh yeah, there's going to be ticks out here. Honestly, I didn't even know what a tick was. Well, I had taken my dog with me, who also had ticks on him, and I didn't know that. And he has slept in my bed, every night, was right by me. That was my road dog. He was everywhere I was. And I don't know if I got the tick on my own, picked it up, or if it came off of him and latched onto me. Well, when I found that, it had been pretty swollen and gorged. It had been on me for a while. I would say probably about a week. And I found it. It was in the shower, and I was shaving my legs. It was like up on my thigh near the bottom of my butt cheek. And I had felt it, and I was like, oh, that's weird. I wonder what that is. So I just picked at it thinking, oh, it was a scab? That's weird. I don't know. And I pulled off this bug, and I was so shocked and it's scared, and I don't like bugs or crawly things, spiders, nothing like that. And I was like, what the hell is this? And I had gotten out of the shower, and went to my brother, and I'm like, dude, have you ever seen a bug like this? And he's like, oh my God, I think that's a tick. And I was like, what the hell is a tick? Like, I had not ever heard of a tick at all. And I think that's kind of funny. But Lyme disease wasn't on my mind. I don't even think I told my mom that I found it on me. But I did, because I said, Mom, I found a tick on me. And she's like, oh yeah, like the dog had him too. And I was like, great. I remember obsessively cleaning my room because I was so scared of having another bug or like any bugs in my room. So gross. But Lyme disease isn't something that is in that area of the country. So we weren't thinking about it. But like maybe a month or so after that, I had gotten so sick. I had a temperature of 105 degrees. I was sick for like 3 weeks. I couldn't eat anything. I don't think I ate anything but maybe one meal. I couldn't even drink a smoothie. It was awful. My pee smelled like Campbell's chicken noodle soup. It was awful. And we're thinking, okay, it's just a really bad flu, like just wait it out. And no, it wasn't. And eventually, it became an emergency situation. And when I had gotten to the hospital, I was young, so they didn't give me much information, mostly just addressed my mother. But, they said kidney infections. Well, I had pulled my medical records from that time, and it says, kidney failure, but with an infection. And they're, okay, putting it 2 and 2 together, that it's caused by an infection in the kidneys, which is very much, what could have been the situation at that point. But knowing that bacteria came from that tick, and that's where that infection came from, I wish that at that point we could have put everything together. But since I had gotten that initial treatment, I was in the hospital for a week. I had IV antibiotics and whatever else they gave me. Came home with another month's supply of antibiotics, and that's why I think it kind of held off for a while before the symptoms really did start to set in again as I got older. And I think going through a few traumas, like a car accident, and putting my body through that stress of training, although it was the healthiest I'd ever been in my life, I think that's definitely what had brought it on. So I was like, okay, meeting these new people who are like, I think you have Lyme disease, and having been exposed to a tick bite and getting so ill following that, I went and saw a specialist, and she diagnosed me, and I came back and had a positive IGenics Lyme test, which is very expensive. I had to pay out of pocket for that, but that's for another video. And that started, I think I was 26 when that happened, when I was finally diagnosed, and that started my my road down treatment. And we will talk about treatment too, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of an introduction, who I am, and let you know that if your doctor is not listening to you, you don't, I'm not a doctor, so everything that I'm giving you is just information. Please do not do not diagnose yourself with my video. Disclaimer, disclaimer, disclaimer. I can't be liable for the actions that you take after receiving this information. But you can treat yourself without a doctor, and you do not need to pay thousands of dollars, and you can get better, and you don't have to take pharmaceuticals, and you can do it naturally. And I am here to hopefully give you that hope to take your health into your own hands and get better, because let me tell you, it was hell of a ride, and knowing what I know now, I would have done things completely different, and I can't not tell you guys this information. And I'll look forward to seeing you on my next video.